There was quite a few offers, obviously if you've been the leading goal scorer of a league, that it comes with that. It's a good feeling, to see, so much people support, showing their support and their appreciation, and, it's just a motivation to go out there and, want to not just represent myself, but represent Jamaica as well.
Your season in France, how would you rate it though?
From out of 10, I would say probably a 9. Because of, my first season, the COVID, stopped the league, and I was 10 goals in 14 games, and, that was my first year professionally, and it was just a big adjustment, France coming from the US. So, the COVID happened, and I came home, and I had a lot of time to reflect and, watch videos from the previous season and see what I can improve on, and I went into the preseason ready, and I felt very great, and my coaches were very excited because I was one of the fittest going in. So yeah.
Did you meet all your goals though that you put forward before the start of the competition?
Yeah, definitely. One of the biggest ones was the Champions League, because that would have been the first time in the club's history that we made it to the Champions League. So that would say the biggest goal. That was the biggest goal for me. And then as the season progressed, I see myself getting closer to being the leading goal scorer. So towards the end, that was also one of the main goals as well.
St. Jago High native, Jamaica, journey to the United States, then to France. How was that the difference in terms of how they lived?
Every country is a challenge for me, and I'm always open to challenges. Every country is different, and the culture is different. The way people live in different countries is different, and it's something that I've always wanted to experience too. So when I get older and I leave the sport, I could always look back on and reflect on the journey that I've been through. But yeah, that was just one of the biggest things.
Expectations are high. Now you're journeying to Manchester City. What are your specific goals and your specific expectations?
I tend not to talk on my personal goals, but in general, I just want to go to Manchester City to help the team win trophies. That's one of the general goals. To compete and hopefully at the end we can be Champions League.
Did you have a lot of offers on the table, or was it City alone, or did you have to choose from different teams?
Yeah, there was offers. There was quite a few offers. Obviously, if you've been the leading goal scorer of a league, that it comes with that. But after watching, I always wanted to play in England. And after watching Manchester City, their style of play, the way they play, the build-up play, playing through the seams. That's how I play. So playing at Manchester City was a choice that I chose, and I'm just looking forward to it.
The conditions might be different compared to France. Are you aware of the conditions and the situation that you might encounter when you get over to England?
I am. The only difference is the rain. It's just the same as if you're talking about the cold. It's just as cold as France, because I also compared that. But the only difference is the rain.
On a personal note though, for your game itself, we have watched it from St. Jago, especially when you defeated Excelsior in that final. But do you think that there's a part of the game that can be improved as you go forward?
There's always room for improvement, I've that, and that's how I've always, I want to always put a lot of pressure on myself, because I've done good things, but I think there's a lot more that can be done, and moving forward. And I spoke with the coach from Manchester City, and he'll design a program for me, so when I get there, I could start working on my weaknesses and also strengthen my strengths.
The women's football in Jamaica has been going down, for a while now, and I think you have one hour hike, and I think you have a role to play in ensuring that we get some women's football back on track.
Definitely, you can use me as an example. There's always gonna be challenges, and there's always gonna be some form of lack of resources when it comes to women's football in the world in general. But is what you do and how you work with what you have, that's gonna determine where the league goes or where I go in general. So for me, I would say they can use me as an example. I didn't let the difficulties that I faced, help me to reach here. So for the league, I would say I definitely think they should start back the league, because there's a lot of opportunities out there, and there's a lot of talented individuals players that would want to play, but because there's a lack of opportunity there, they're not able to get that.
Will you be talking to the JFF or anybody in the hierarchy about restarting women's football in the country?
Yeah, I'm definitely open to that. I'm supposed to have a meeting with Sidela to talk about certain stuff moving forward and what needs to get better, not what can, but what needs to get better for our football to improve and for us to actually equally compete against the other countries in the world, because we can't just use talent. If we have lack of resources, talent can only take you so far. But if you don't have the proper structure and the right things put in place, then we'll always be going to a World Cup just to show up. And, we don't just want to show up, we want to compete. So definitely things need to be set into place so that, the local players here can be properly prepared. So when they come into camp, we're all ready. So definitely.
That's preparation though, but what about quality? Do you think that you have the core of ladies with quality that your ladies can be competitive on the world stage? I mean, you went to the World Cup before, and persons thought that you could be a little bit more competitive. I mean, persons have their own opinions. But do you think that you can be more competitive when you go back to that stage?
Yeah, resources builds competitiveness. And for example, gym, nutrition, training pitch, those things help to get a player better. So if we don't have that, then like you said, we'll just go to the World Cup and show up, and that will never be my objective moving forward. I want to compete, I want to win games. So there's a lot that needs to be done, and I will definitely ensure that, I give my opinion on it, especially because I've exposed now to, the correct professionalism that is happening in Europe. So definitely, but I think talent and resources builds a player. A player can always be talented, but if they have nothing behind, that would just be just another talent.